Well, looks like GameStop's release dates are different than everybody else's because I got the new Dungeons & Dragons Stranger Things starter set. And so I thought I'd do a little unboxing and show you guys what this is all about. I don't know that much about Stranger Things. I saw a couple scenes where they were playing some old school D&D. Looked like a pretty cool scene. Seems like a good show. I just haven't seen it yet. I love this box. This box has some weathering and wear marks on it. It's just so cool. It just seems so interesting, just like an old DMG or something you pick up from a store. The dice, I wish they would have gone with like the old school solid color dice. These look pretty cool though. They're multicolored. Some people like those. The miniatures, they look okay, but man, once I got my hands on them, boy, it just seems like this is super cheap plastic. Like super cheap and rubbery plastic. Like the kind of stuff you'd find something in a dollar store toy, not the old school Hasbro toys. My disappointment has reached just huge levels here. I cannot see how something this rubbery can be primed and painted properly. Maybe it can, but man, I mean, just the amount of give these miniatures have, I just don't see how you can paint them without them instantly cracking as soon as you pick them up. Very disappointing. Way better is the starter set rule kit. It's pretty hefty. It has all the basic stuff that you need. It's a really nice little rules book. Certainly enough to run your own games at level 3 or perhaps even a little bit beyond. But here is the real meat and potatoes. This amazing little adventure by the fictional character of Mike Wheeler. Wow, I don't usually like nostalgia all that much, but this is just such a simple, interesting throwback campaign. There's nothing convoluted about it, and it's so full of the artwork looks like a 13-year-old did it. All the little stuff is written out, so there's a lot of open-ended stuff players can do. It's just so interesting to see something like this, to just really take like the new school 5e stuff and just go super old school with it. And I think this is really missing from some of the starter sets, just incredibly simplistic stuff like this, which will really be player-friendly to brand new players that have never played D&D before. It really sets up a lot of cool stuff. A lot of the monsters are like, they're just there, and they won't bother the players. and there's super evil monsters, which are a real threat, and it's an amazing book. I really love it. You have the character sheets, which are double-sided and are very nice. I think these are kind of, pathed on the D&D Beyond type character sheets, which actually I don't believe are double-sided, but it's super interesting, have everything you need to run a character. And again, characters are balanced, everything's good with these. And here's the miniature game. Again, the painted one looks okay, except for the non-painted base. I can't believe they get away with calling this a painted miniature when they just put some color in its mouth, and that's it. And again, I know my plastic. This is not the old school Hasbro plastic. The Hasbro plastic, you can see that the bases don't bend with minimal effort. And the bases on this thing do. Gosh, it's just such a disappointment that we finally got another miniature from Hasbro, and they went with this dollar store type plastic, which, again, I love the Hasbro miniatures because the material is this kind of rubbery plastic. This is not this. This is way too rubbery. It feels like a dollar store toy. What a disappointment. I cannot see how this can take paint or primer without it just chipping off as soon as you touch the thing, because at the slightest touch, like, everything's gonna bend with a super soft plastic like this. Even with my patented methods of alcohol cleaning and using surface primer on it, I just don't know if these things could possibly take paint. I will experiment with that as time goes by. Do I recommend this for people who already know about Dungeons & Dragons and are already involved? Probably not. Certainly don't buy it for the miniatures. But if you are going to lead new players down a adventure and you want like a one-shot that's just really old school and very simple, and but still has those things of like NPCs that, like, you know, it's kind of written out that if the players treat them good, that the NPCs will treat them good, and then just monsters that are just there as part of the environment. If players don't bother them, the monsters won't bother them. It's amazingly interesting. I think it's amazing for new players. Maybe some old players would actually get a kick out of running an old school adventure like this. Kudos to whoever wrote this. They did an amazing job. If you have new players, I think this is a must-buy. It's a really nice starter set, especially if you can get it on sale. I think $24 is actually a decent price for this set, and I would actually recommend this above the current 5e starter set, because again, that gets a little convoluted when it comes to the adventuring. This is meat and potatoes, but it is the most delicious meat and potatoes you have eaten since the 80s.